Our faith is seen in the choices that we make. Faith that chooses is faith that accepts God's plan. Faith chooses courageously and makes brave choices. It doesn't give in to fear. See, when was the last time you stepped out in faith and did something risky in obedience to the Lord? Sooner or later, faith will mean having to do something that will challenge us. Telling someone about Jesus, standing up to your family and telling them about your faith, or even in your workplace. Moses rejected the world's prestige. Fame always brings a certain amount of honor. If you were born into the right family, the world will think of you as great, whether you are or not. Moses had all these things, yet he gave them up. That was his first choice. He chose against the prestige of the world. Faith rejects the world's pleasure. You see, no one needs to be convinced that sin is often fun, right? But it has two characteristics that the world does not notice. One, it is always evil, and the second one, it is always passing. Obedience is not always easy, but in the end, sin is much more harder. God's way is not only for his own honor, but for our own good. Faith rejects the world's plenty. In the eyes of the world, no reproach, whether it be ridicules or persecution, is worth sacrificing your riches for. Yet Moses believed that the worst he could endure for Christ would be more valuable than the best of the world. We should be willing to forsake and hazard all we have for the sake of Christ. Faith rejects the world's pressures. Faith not only accepts God's plan, but also God's provision. Faith accepts God's righteousness applied on our behalf. This is God's way, and therefore this is faith's way. The key to Moses' faith, I believe, is the close intimacy of his walk with the Lord. The secret to victorious living is to face God before we face men. Faith in Christ requires a denial of self. It is willingly, deliberately taking up our cross and following Him. Faith that chooses the better is this. Faith that accepts God's plan. Faith that rejects the world's prestige. Faith that rejects the world's pleasure. Faith that rejects the world's pressures. And faith that accepts God's provision in Christ.